When Jeff Hafley says he wants his players to play fast, what exactly does he mean? One of his players, Evan Williams, joins us on the show to talk about that, his rookie season, his breakout, his injury, and a lot more on today's Locked On Packers.
You are Locked On Packers, your daily Green Bay Packers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Packers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Peter Bukowski, and I cover the Packers for The Leap, a newsletter I would love for you to subscribe to. Follow me on Twitter, Peter_Bukowski. Follow the podcast on Twitter, Locked On Packers. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to the podcast to iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Wherever you find podcasts, you will find Locked On Packers, the #1 Packers podcast on the internet. And the show for fans who know what happened. They want to know why and how. Thanks to everyone who makes Locked On Packers their first listen every day. We hope you like starting your day with us as much as we like starting our day with you. Today's episode brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Evan Williams, Packers rookie safety, breakout star, potential defensive rookie of the year. By the way, he says he wants that. He is on the show today. Terrific conversation coming here. Potentially something we might get to do again, which would be really cool. Lauren Cox on the show tomorrow. Still plenty more. This is Packers Bears rivalry week. We get into the rivalry conversation with Evan Williams, Bottled and Bond. We do that. So let's do it. Loaded conversation. Let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. Joining me now, Packers rookie safety, Evan Williams, former University of Oregon Ducks standout. Fresh off the bye week. Evan, let's start here because we didn't get to see you the last time the Packers played. How you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Just getting better day by day, kind of just sticking to the process through it all. And just working to get back, and be able to help this team.
What are you trying to get when you have a bye week? Are you able to take some time to reflect? Are you trying to watch film? Like, what are you trying to get out of a bye week?
Yeah, it's kind of a mixture, right? You want to get away from the game for a little bit just so you could, find that just mental peace, away from the game. And then you also want to get a head start on next week and, your next opponent. So it's a little mixture of that. I took the start of the week kind of just to decompress, get my mind where it needed to be. And then, around middle of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, you're turning on some Bears film and trying to get a head start for this next upcoming game right there.
What do you do to decompress?
Really, just be at home, just kind of like be with the people you love. I'm with my girl right now. So kind of just being home is being away from everybody, all the noise, kind of just being able to have your own space. And I'll read every now and then. I don't know, just kind of just enjoy the time away from the facility. I had to be here because I had to do rehab and such. Other people went wherever they needed to, whether that be their homes to see people they love. But no, I just stuck here. Stuck to the work for a little bit, and gonna head into this week feeling confident.
Yeah, as a parent of two small kids, I very much appreciate I have 5 minutes. Let me try and read because I never have time otherwise. I felt that very same thing. Me and my wife got a chance to go away. I got a chance to read. I'm like, oh, this is so great. I finally get a chance to sit down and open a book. So I totally understand that. Let's go back in time a little bit here. You go through the pre-draft process. What was your expectation of what that process was like, and what surprised you about it?
Yeah, it was kind of a crazy time, right? Because it's just a time where you want to, just impress as many people as you can. Put the best foot forward that you could. In every showing you have, whether that's pro day to combine to whatever all-star games you're going to. So it's a little bit of a hectic process. You don't really get a off season, a true off season. You're kind of just, in the mix, hopping from one event to the next. And so it can be a little much at times, but it was a fun experience. I mean, in all, really, just being able to, go against, some of the most elite competition from your draft class, and just be able to, go head to head with those type of guys, see them work, just be on the same field, kind of, sharing experiences and, kind of just connecting with those type of guys was something that was a lot of fun, through the combine and the Senior Bowl, which I got to go to. But yeah, I wasn't too sure about, my draft, true profile, where I was going to, be selected, if I was going to be selected at all. So I kind of went into it with an open mind, and just tried to work, as much as I could, put the best image out that I could, at these camps and at these, at the combine. And so, yeah, it was fun to have those moments, and then go back to family, kind of enjoy that time, the pre-draft, when you've done it all and now you're just with your family, kind of relaxing, just hoping for your name to be called in the upcoming draft. It's those are some pretty special moments, and it was a time I definitely won't forget.
When did you feel, if you did, but when did you feel the stakes raise? When, okay, you're out of college, you're now going through this very professional process. I know that college has been sort of professionalized in a lot of ways too, but then, hey, this is going to be my job. I'm drafted. I'm a pro. Did you ever have a moment where you're just sort of like, okay, this feels different now?
Yeah, a little bit. I wouldn't even say it's a moment as much as just, every day you're coming in the facility and you just see guys that are pros, right? That have been doing it for so long. And, you've obviously seen their tape, seen them just be successful at what they do for such a long time. And you kind of just see them operate, see their habits, see their film study habits, how they take care of their bodies, their nutrition, what time they come in the building. So you're kind of just like, okay, this is getting real. Like these are grown men with jobs, and, I'm fighting for a job myself. And so it's kind of just a steady realization, over a little bit of time, like, okay, this is something I got to take serious, something, I got to dedicate a lot of time to and just sacrifice. So, yeah, it was kind of just over time, probably in training camp, realizing that, okay, this is some, elite competition, and I got to be on my best game.
Early in training camp, there were moments where you made a bunch of plays, splash plays, interceptions, and then you're asked about it in the locker room afterward, and you give these in-depth answers about what you're seeing, what you felt, this idea about spatial awareness, and that's something that has really stuck out to me watching your tape in the NFL. Your spatial awareness is especially for rookie, just kind of off the charts. Is that something that you have ever tried to work on, or is it something that comes from tape study? Like, to what do you attribute that ability that you have to sort of feel things and play with instincts that way?
Yeah. Honestly, I attribute most of it to just coaching. I've had the pleasure of just having some, coaches with a ton of experience that, I've loved to play for. And they've just, over my years of 14, 15 years of football that, I've just been able to kind of soak up as much information as I could. And, I would also, attribute that to just the reps, the practice, the, film study, you mentioned it. But just seeing some over and over, and kind of you get these concepts in your head, that are familiar, that, attack your defense in a specific way. And, offenses will dress it up differently, but at the end of the day, a lot of the guys are running the same concepts dressed differently. And so, you just get as many reps as you can. I feel like I've just tried to take practice really seriously, try to just, even if I'm not in the game, take those mental reps just to get to the next level. And yeah, I mean, instincts is a funny word. I don't know if you're born with it or, if, you learn it over time, but, I take that as such a compliment, just because I feel like a lot goes behind the scenes, to develop these instincts. And so, yeah, I just, attribute it to just my coaching, my teammates helped me out, and yeah, just, getting that film room, getting those reps, and it results in some good things.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want this to devolve into like the Chris Farley SNL skit where he's talking to Paul McCartney. He's like, "Hey, remember when you were in the Beatles? That was so great." But it's one of those things that I think it's really hard to quantify. I think it's really hard to scout. And so I just it's one of those things where I'm not even sure, like to your point, that there is one thing that you can point to and say, yeah, this is why this is how this works. A ton more to get into with Packers rookie Evan Williams next on Locked On Packers. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. The Packers and Bears line has moved a full point away from the Packers. They open at 6.5-point favorites. It's now 5.5. This after the Bears fire their offensive coordinator, but we also get reports that players wanted the OC fired, that there were some players that went to the coach that said they need to play Tyson Bagent over the #1 overall pick, Caleb Williams. The vibes in Chicago are a nightmare right now, but the odds makers, maybe the betting public, think a dead cat bounce is coming. If you have a hunch, you can win $150 in bonus bets if you place a $5 bet with your first bet on FanDuel. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Today's episode also brought to you by our friends at Prize Picks. Make money with your football knowledge playing daily fantasy sports with Prize Picks. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awards winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on a stat type for 2 or more players for a shot to win up to 100 times your money. 4 correct picks. You put 4 guys in a lineup, you can win 100. Not a misprint, not a typo, not a flub. 100 times your money. So what are you waiting for? Get in on the action. Plus right now, sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to get the bonus. It's guaranteed. So download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play that first $5 lineup. Download the app and use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly when you play that first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. But let me piggyback onto that, because when Jeff Hafley was hired in Green Bay, and you didn't, you haven't played for any other defensive coordinator, so there's nothing to compare it to there. But in the NFL, at least, he says he wants to let the guys play fast, just not think and play fast. As a player, what does that mean to you when you hear a coach say that?
Yeah, it's really just means that you get to play with a certain level of freedom on the field. It doesn't feel like you're mentally weighed down by your assignments and all the things that you have to do. And he'll say it before games, in pregame talks. He'll let us know. He's like, just play fast. Don't even worry about any of your mistakes. If you make a mistake, that's on us for putting you in that position or putting you in a position, that you're not able to make the play. Put that on us. Just go out there and play fast, play physical, and just fly around. And so that's really freeing as a player, right? You don't have to think about, I might be in the wrong spot here. I might not be able to make this. I don't know what leverage to choose or anything. Like, you don't have to really worry. You kind of just let your so-called instincts take over and just play free. And, the assignments are really simple. A lot of communication is involved naturally, but, he just keeps our jobs and just the overall scheme so simple to the point that, we're all on the same page and just playing fast, playing free. And it's bred some good things, really good things for us this year.
Yeah, I mean, you and X have seemed to have formed this terrific bond. Javon Bullard in the slot, Keyshawn Nixon kind of playing what we thought was out of position, but he seems to be playing well on the outside. Like, you guys have been really flexible. What do you attribute that to? Because there have been a lot of changes, and they all kind of seem to work in different ways. Yeah,
I mean, you got to give it up to coaching, first and foremost, just for them, putting us in positions to be successful, in various positions to be successful, right? And then you got to give it to, just the guys that are able to do all of that and are able to be different, pieces in the chess match to where, you can use a guy like Javon, and at the nickel, you could, put him on the line of scrimmage. You could put him in the post. You could just do all these things with different pieces. And so now that you come out and it's a big third down at the end of the game, you don't know what somebody, you don't have a tip to what anybody is going to do just because there's so many guys that are interchangeable. And you mentioned Keyshawn. I mean, he's been doing a crazy job, both in the nickel and outside, kind of just being a do-it-all guy. And I feel like that's our whole DB room, doing whatever it takes to, get the job done at the end of the day. And we got a special group of guys. We believe that, and we like to, showcase that whenever we're on the field.
What was it like for you, especially after having some success in camp, not be able to get as many opportunities once the season started, to have to kind of wait your turn?
Yeah, it was, it was a little humbling for sure. I mean, you come in and you just want to, put your best foot forward and just, you have this, layout of, steady increase. I mean, as you should, just as your natural goals, I want to be a starter. I want to be, rookie of the year. I want to be, you lay your goals out. And so, the season starts and it's just not where you expect it to be. And I don't know. I kind of just took it as a, chance to get better, really. I like to say whenever I feel a enormous high or enormous low, I like to revert back to the work. It's something I say a lot. Just meaning that, whatever adversity you go through, or if you're, on top of the world, everybody's, chanting your name, just to revert back to, going back and just putting hours in the film room, getting those practice reps as many times as you can. And, I just tried to, use that as fuel. And so put my best foot forward in practice for, a few weeks, and got the opportunity. I think with the Rams was the first game I got to really start and, really play. And, just tried to make the most of it. Honestly, I had my family out there in LA. Everybody showed out. And so I just felt like it was a a great moment to put my best foot forward, and just took advantage of the opportunity.
What's that like when you find out, like, hey, this is going to be the week? And by the way, there's going to be all of this other shuffling that leads to that moment because, you don't have all of your guys.
Yeah.
And by the way, you led the team in tackles.
Yeah, I guess. Can you repeat that a little bit? I'm kind of.
Well, just like when you found out, whether it was Coach Haff or one of the other coaches that said, all right, Evan, you're up this week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you the kind of person who has to remind yourself, like, okay, chill out? Do you let yourself, feel that high? Or like, cause you were just saying, like, when you feel those highs, to try and get back to the work, like what is your experience like going through a moment like that?
Yeah. It's a mix of emotions for sure. An initial, like, all right, this is the moment you've been waiting for. So naturally you're going to get a little, adrenaline in your system, but also, just kind of sticking to what got me here, and that's just, doing the right things throughout the week. Preparing like a pro, getting your body right like a pro, and then, you get to the game, and that's when kind of the fun just really gets to come out. Like, you do all this preparation and, just getting yourself as ready as you can up to the moment. And then once you're in a moment, it feels like, you don't have to do anything like special. Like, you're just doing, your job, and plays are going to come your way. And, I just really had a lot of plays that came my way, truthfully, in that game, and put myself in some good spots, and made some plays, helped the team win. It was a pretty, unrealistic, or not unrealistic, but, just, it was a crazy moment.
Yeah. No, I can imagine it being surreal, that you're just sort of like, this is here. This is what you worked for, to try and keep yourself in that moment. I know that you were not a part of what happened last week against the Lions, but I would be remiss to not ask, like, from your perspective, why was that just not up to the standard that you guys set? That's something you guys talk about a lot. The standard is the standard. I know the defense, I thought, actually played pretty well in that game overall, but when you guys don't win this year, it's been a lot of self-inflicted wounds.
Absolutely.
So how does that happen? How do you fix that? How do you lock that up?
Yeah, and honestly, we see that as a good thing, right? Because it could be that you just put your best foot forward and, got your butt kicked.
Yeah, you're just not good enough. Right.
Okay, these are just fixable things. Just either that's discipline, pre-snap, your eyes are in the wrong spot or we don't make a communication. But I mean, those are all things we can fix, right? Those are all things that we can harp on in practice and, get that to a T so that, next Sunday when we come out, it's a little bit different. So, yeah, I mean, there's a ton of mistakes. We hate when we beat ourselves, but at the end of the day, we can go back to the drawing board and, just improve on those things. And, at the end of the week, if we're, just focused, disciplined, doing all the right things right, then we should be in a good spot.
When you lose Jordan in the first game and you have to play 2 weeks with Malik Willis, who is the guy, who is the voice? What was it that kept you guys together and allowed you as a team to get those wins?
I honestly can't point to one person, but just honestly as a whole locker room, I feel like we understood what we were capable of, regardless of who's at quarterback. And we felt really confident in Malik as a quarterback. I mean, every time he's come out there, he's, shown out and just done it in, pretty crazy fashion.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy to watch from the sideline because even when there's no play there, he can, make a couple guys miss and, scramble for a first down. And just that, that threat has been, really successful this year. But no, I mean, I feel like everybody in that locker room just understood that, if as a defense, especially as a defense, we took that on our shoulders just to, okay, we don't have our star quarterback is out right now. And so who's going to be the savior? And so we just you naturally just took it on ourselves that, if we want to be seen as a defensive organization, offense has always been, pretty, playmaking these past couple of years. And so if we want to be a team that, just has a defensive identity, these are the games, you have to show up in. And so, I think the next game was the Tennessee Titans. And you saw what happened there. We had 8 sacks and, just completely dominated the whole game. And so, and those are some good lessons that you need to learn throughout the year. I feel like just to understand what you're capable of, regardless of who's playing. And it was a real good time just for our culture and just for everybody involved.
Oh, we're not done. Don't even think about it. We got plenty more with Evan Williams next on Locked On Packers. Hey, Packer fans, remember our great partner, Ultimate Pro Football GM? Well, they're back, and they've added an amazing new game mode that you have to hear about. The game that has you step into the shoes of a franchise football GM and lead it to glory now has a new head coach career mode. So on top of getting to build your dynasty by drafting players, signing free agents, and hiring coaching staffs, now you also get to call offensive plays during the game as well. Additionally, you'll dig the new tools you can work with, such as individual training camps and upgraded negotiation systems. So this fun and realistic game now has gotten even better. If you already have it installed, be sure to do the update so you can try out the new mode. And if you don't have it yet, download it right now. It's a must-have for all football fans. I know you will love it. It's completely free, has no ads, and 100% playable offline. So play as you go, play it on the airplane, play it on the subway, whatever you want to do. And here's a special offer for Locked On fans. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNFL, all caps, inside the game store to get a special free boost for your franchise. Make sure to get it, as it will jumpstart your play and give you the advantage you'll want in creating a dynasty. To download the game, just visit ultimate-gm.com, ultimate-gm.com, or look it up in the App Store. Ultimate Pro Football GM. Start your dynasty today. And thanks for making Locked On Packers your first listen. Now for your second listen, go check out Locked On NFL, now with 2 shows every day. First, the man Tyler Rowland kicks off your morning with a double shot of NFL espresso. Then stop by the barbershop with Tony Wiggins for some real NFL talk. Find Locked On NFL on YouTube or wherever you find podcasts. It is Bears week.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about what you do know, because you have yet to experience Packers-Bears in terms of the rivalry, but you do know Caleb Williams. You have seen Caleb, you've played against him at USC. He is the kind of quarterback that we haven't seen, his best this year. He is the kind of quarterback that even when the play isn't there, can make one. And so what are the challenges as a safety going up against a quarterback like that?
Yeah, really just his ability to, make off-schedule throws. He's, really prolific at it. You just see the highlights to where he's, doesn't get much help from his O-line, and he's scrambling, makes 3 people miss. And, keeps his eyes downfield and is just a threat when he's outside the pocket. And so, yeah, as a safety, you just got to really just stick to your rules, have great eye discipline, keep a roof on the coverage, and just be ready to, run with these receivers wherever they go, as long as the play extends, because he's going to extend some plays. I mean, he's a great player, just a playmaker. And so, yeah, just got to be ready, be able to communicate the whole game, effectively, and just be on your P's and Q's.
What have you heard about this rivalry? Has there been any conversations, players, whether it's because, Packers Lions has become a bit of a rivalry too, Packers Vikings, certainly. So it's not like you haven't played rivalry games this season, but Packers Bears a little different.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually talking to Leroy Butler yesterday. I had a dinner with him, and I was talking to him a little bit about the rivalry.
He's a great guy, fun guy.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome. Had a great conversation with him, but now he was just telling me about what his teammates were telling him, because he was coming in as a rookie or some like first or second year and didn't really understand the rivalry. And he's like, this is different. Like or his teammates told him this is different. These are state lines that are being crossed, and, it can get, real feisty. You better be, on your stuff when you come to Chicago, because it's a different type of energy. And so, yeah, I mean, I haven't experienced it, but I try to understand, just get a sense of just the history, of the rivalry, and, come into battle, just ready to fight.
What are your goals the rest of the season?
Defensive Rookie of the Year is, definitely something I set my, eyes on pretty early. When I first showed up, I believe in, just the power of imagery, seeing something and you got to imagine it coming true to, be able to accomplish it. So that's definitely something, but, more than anything, I really just want to win a Super Bowl. I've just kind of been a fly on the wall for these, first couple months that, I've been with the team, and you just hear everybody talk about, how this group of people doesn't come around, very often. Like, we have the talent to do it. It's about, whether we can get, again, the little things, get focused, just be full discipline, through these next 8 weeks, and, we can accomplish whatever we want to accomplish. And so you hear a lot of, old guys, coaches, just guys with experience say that.
Yeah, you don't have very many old guys in that locker room.
Yeah, but you got some guys with experience for sure, and coaches with experience, and just you got to understand the window to be successful in this league is sometimes can be really thin, and just to take advantage of right now is how I'm taking it.
How does Matt LaFleur play into the locker room culture, the vibes, all of that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, he's the heart and soul of it, right? Just provides the mission, early in the week, just that, what we need to accomplish to win the game, just lays it out for us, just the plan. And so it's clear what we have to do. And I feel like everybody just rallies around him as an emotional leader too. And yeah, I feel like just a group of guys, the type of people that he's brought into this team, just with the right attitude, the right just mental toughness. There's a lot of guys that just are, I feel like, pieces that you need to win a Super Bowl. And so, yeah, Matt is at the heart of that. Absolutely.
As we wind down here, coming into the season, and maybe this is an unfair question to ask you because you're not on that team, but coming into the season, I thought this defensive front would really be unleashed, and it hasn't quite happened. And those are really good players up there: Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark, Carl Brooks, Devontae Wyatt, all those guys. I mean, name after name, right? Mm-hmm. And as Jeff Hafley over the last few weeks has said, we're kind of unveiling this as we go, and all of a sudden we're seeing more simulated pressures. We're seeing you guys do a little bit more disguise. Was this always the plan for like, was that transparent from the jump? Like, this is going to be a process. And what has that process been like?
Yeah, for sure. We definitely, understood that there was layers to this defense, just that kind of, you're not going to obviously show your full hand in preseason week one, like, or, as early as you can in the year. So we've never lost trust in the defensive scheme. We know that there's layers to this that, each week you can show one or two different looks, and that, that might be the difference for the next week that you need, for something to come open. And so, yeah, I've at least alone, I feel like our whole defense kind of understands that there's going to be levels to this, and just to be patient, and just execute your job. Because even in the simple stuff, if we, play fast and just do our job to a T, we're pretty good. We've shown it over, several times this year that, when we're just disciplined, we're locked into our job, communicating well, that we could be a force on defense.
Last thing here, run defense had been a problem in Green Bay for a long time. By the numbers, you guys are average or a little bit above average. Right now, you're looking up at a team at the top that you just played, the Detroit Lions, who are a big, nasty, physical team. Is that something you guys talk about? We want to take pride in the physicality of this defense, in addition to playing fast, especially because you have to play big bad teams like the 49ers, the Lions. Not that you're scared of them, but just like, hey, we've got to match this physicality, or they're gonna walk over us.
Yeah, match or exceed for sure. Every week you come into come with the goal of just being the more physical unit, in all phases. But, with the amount of physicality that, some teams present, you definitely have to just be, extra, cautious of, taking away the ball, just, getting off blocks and just being the, more physical unit. You have to go into those games, knowing that it's going to be a dogfight, 4 quarters, and you just can't let up the pedal. Otherwise, something can break. So, yeah, it's a daily challenge. Every day in practice, just trying to, harp on the little things. You don't want to injure a teammate naturally, but getting, in a position to make tackles, to, make thuds, and, those plays come to life when you get to the game. So definitely something we take pride in.
Yeah, I heard it once described as solving your problems with violence, and I thought that was a good way to put it. Evan, as you get ready for the Bears, appreciate the time. As always, you're going to get to experience something truly special, Packers, Bears, and hopefully we get to sit down and talk a little bit more soon. I appreciate the time.
Absolutely. I appreciate you for having me.
All right. Thanks to Evan Williams for joining the show. Awesome to talk to him. We talked for a while before we started. We talked for a while after we started. He is an extremely personable guy, fun guy to talk to. Hopefully we get a chance to do that. If it was up to me, we'd do it every week. It's not up to me. So we'll see what we can do there moving forward. Back tomorrow, crossover Thursday, and I think an interview on Friday, but we'll see where we are. We'll see where I feel like we've gotten to. I'm thinking maybe we need to get another Bears voice in this week, especially with all the turmoil, all the stuff going on there. It'd be nice to get another perspective there. Follow me on all the social medias. Now on Blue Sky, Peter Bukowski, Peter_Bukowski, but on Blue Sky doesn't matter. Just search for me. You'll find me. I'm there. And then the podcast is, of course, everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, so you can stay locked on Packers.